Russian troops are leaving the Sarrin airbase in Ain al-Arab, south of the Turkish-Syrian border. Evacuation will follow. Let us recall that the Russian Federation has requested assistance from Turkey in withdrawing its military contingent from Syrian territory. Moscow is looking for a way and assistance from Ankara in the safe withdrawal of part of its troops. It appears that these troops will be transferred to the territory controlled by the Turkish armed forces and then sent to Russia by air. Russia has asked for such assistance in order to safely withdraw its troops. Iran's proxy forces have not been effective in Syria for quite some time, the statement said. Recall, Russia and Syria recently established a military base in Ain al-Arab, one of Syria's most strategic points on the border with Turkey, which the PKK terrorist organization calls Kobane, and experts see the move as a positive one for Turkey. The armed forces of the Russian Federation and the Syrian Arab Republic have completed the creation of a base in the area of the Syrian-Turkish border, said Deputy Director of the Russian Center for Reconciliation, Colonel Oleg Ignasiuk. While low-level talks between Ankara and Damascus are still ongoing, Russia's construction of a major military base in the region near the Turkish border is seen as a positive development ahead of the expected meeting between Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Recall, Syrian opposition fighters took control of the Latakia province, where Russian military facilities, the Kyiv airbase and the Tartus naval base, are located, Russian state news agency TASS reported, citing a Syrian source. The fighters did not enter or threaten the Russian bases, a Kremlin source told TASS separately. The claims could not be immediately verified. The reports follow a statement by Ukraine's military intelligence agency that Russia had begun withdrawing its naval and military assets from Syria amid the collapse of dictator Bashar al-Assad's regime. Assad's 24-year rule ended following a lighting offensive by opposition forces that culminated in the capture of Damascus, Syria's capital city, on December 8. Iran has begun evacuating its military command and personnel from Syria. This move by one of Damascus' key allies, Tehran, could signal an inability to assist President Bashar al-Assad in maintaining power amid a rebel offensive, reports the New York Times. Regional officials and 3 Iranian officials told the American media that Iranian military personnel and staff members had started to be evacuated from Syria. It is reported that senior commanders from the Quds Force, one of the 5 external branches of the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, have already been evacuated to neighboring Iraq and Lebanon. Iranian officials and regional authorities also revealed to journalists that they had evacuated members of the Revolutionary Guards, some Iranian diplomatic staff, their families, and Iranian civilians. Iranians began to leave Syria, the New York Times reports, citing officials speaking anonymously to discuss a sensitive issue. The evacuation is said to be taking place at the Iranian embassy in Damascus and at IRGC bases. Some individuals being evacuated are being transferred by air to Tehran, while others are leaving by land to Lebanon, Iraq, and the Syrian port of Latakia. According to Iranian analyst Mehdi Ramadi, who advises officials on regional strategy, Tehran is starting to evacuate its forces and military personnel because we cannot fight as an advisory and support force if Syria's army itself does not want to fight. The bottom line is that Iran has realized that it cannot manage the situation in Syria right now with any military operation, and this option is off the table, Ramadi added in a conversation with the media. The American press notes that the evacuation orders marked a significant turning point for Assad, whose government Iran has supported throughout Syria's 13-year civil war, as well as for Tehran, which has used Syria as a key route for supplying weapons to Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. For a long time, Iran, like Russia, another key ally of Assad's regime, has sent advisors and commanders to Syria's bases and front lines. Tehran has also supported various armed groups in the country. Iran deployed tens of thousands of fighters, including Iranians, Afghans, and Pakistani Shias, to protect Assad's government and reclaim territories from the Islamic State, ISIS, during the height of the civil war. Some of the Iranian forces, such as the Afghan Fatimiyan Brigade, have remained in Syria at military bases controlled by Iran. On December 6, this brigade was also deployed to Damascus and Latakia, which are considered strongholds of Assad's forces, according to Iranian officials who spoke to American journalists. Amid a major rebel offensive in Syria, which saw the capture of large cities like Aleppo and Hama in just over a week, as well as territory in 4 provinces, and with rebels advancing on Damascus, 2 senior Iranian Quds Force generals fled to Iraq. The New York Times reports that these generals had previously been deployed to advise the Syrian army and evacuated after rebels captured Homs and Deir al-Zur. Syria is on the verge of collapse, and we are watching calmly, wrote Iranian parliament member Ahmad Naduri on social media. He added that if Damascus falls, Iran will also lose its influence in Iraq and Lebanon. Earlier, Ukraine's defense intelligence reported that Russian forces had withdrawn from the Syrian city of Hama and were fleeing from Damascus. Additionally, the leader of the Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, stated that the rebels' main goal remains the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad's regime, as well as building a new Syria.
يقرب ولا على اي مبنى للدوله. عمرك هي مباني لنا والمؤسسات لنا والسلاح بيرجع هو لمين؟ للمقاتلين، هو للجيش. رح نرجع نبني جيش سوريا. الله اكبر. الشعب السوري واحد 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 واحد. الشعب السوري واحد 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 واحد. الشعب السوري واحد 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 واحد. الشعب السوري واحد. في مساجين جايين على الطريق. في مساجين. مساجين.